Welcome back, everybody. This week we're heading back to Hawaii for one of the more incredible experiences that I can say I've had. I've been a lot of places and I've seen a lot of things and experienced a lot of things, especially in relation to wildlife, but this one really takes the cake. We got to go out one night for a night snorkel with these incredibly large manta rays. And I'll back up just a little bit and start at the beginning and tell you kind of how this all came to be. Back in the 1960s, when they were building the Kona airport on the big island of Hawaii, they had a lot of work lights and things out, and the lights were very close to the ocean, so they were actually shining into the water. And there was one manta ray who had an injured fin or wing, and she was having trouble keeping up catching food during the day and things, and she learned that if she came and just hung out at night near the airport, all the krill and things that she likes to eat were attracted to the light of the construction zone. So she would come up and just gorge all night and then kind of chill during the day. And over the years she had offspring and taught other ones, and now there's 200 or 300 of these manta rays in the area that have learned this behavior. That particular manta ray is not alive anymore, I don't believe. But even though that manta ray is now hanging out with Moana's grandma, she was able to pass on that knowledge to other generations, and because of that, she's created this thriving ecotourism business where you can get on these boats that go out at night. They bring about 30 or 40 people, at least ours did. They throw out these UV light mats that help to track this krill and things up from the bottom of the ocean. The water we were snorkeling in was probably 30 to 40 feet. At most places you can kind of see the bottom floor at a few times in the video here. But just to give you perspective, these manta rays, they look fairly small down there, but they're averaging 8 to 12 feet wide. So when you see how small they look down on the bottom, just imagine how deep that really must be, because they are enormous. I'm sure by this point in the video some of you are wondering where all the sharks are. And I have to say, I was pretty disappointed too. I'm sure that's not what you were thinking. I was on the island for a week, or about a week, and I never saw a single shark. I was in the water every day. I was looking every second that I was in the water, not because I was scared, but because I wanted to see them. I will say, however, on the way out to this night snorkel, from the hotel to the marina, my nerves were about a 7 to 8, and from the marina to our destination, to where we hopped in the water, my nerves were about a 10 to 11. I have heard all the things that you have probably heard about swimming at night. I have seen Jaws a dozen or more times, so you can't help but go into things with some preconceived ideas of what's going to happen. But that said, as soon as my fins hit the water and I was able to see these incredible creatures up close, as soon as the first one touched me swimming by, you can hear several times in this video me and my brother just giggling and laughing and just yelling underwater at how happy we are. There's a quote from a book that I've read. It's one of my favorite quotes, and it says, "Knowledge is finite, but wonder is infinite." And this experience, I feel like, really highlights what that means. I have been a fan of wildlife my entire life. I know a lot of information. I know a lot of facts. I know a lot of details. I've seen manta rays at aquariums. I've seen them on TV. I've seen all their behaviors and different things that, have been studied and whatnot. I was looking them up before this trip because I was excited. But knowing something is not the same as experiencing something. No amount of reading or watching can come close to the experience of sharing that space in that moment with such a massive animal. It was truly magical.
Fish up here. Yeah.
Here you can see those UV lights I was talking about that are attracting their food up to the surface. What they would do is they would do these giant looping barrel rolls, and occasionally would come up and skim upside down right underneath these lights where it was most concentrated. And they're just eating all of it. They're using those big cephalic horns coming off of their face to help funnel the microorganisms into their mouths. It's the plankton and krill and other things like that. And that's their entire diet. That's all they can eat. When I say that's all they can eat, I don't mean it's a preference thing or some type of choice. I mean it's a physical, morphological restriction that their bodies have. I was able to get a shot looking down one's mouth, as you can see here, and their throat is incredibly small. It wouldn't even be able to swallow something as big as, say, a golf ball, which is one of the reasons why trash and other things in the ocean are such a hazard to some of these animals like this, because if that was to get in there, they couldn't swallow it, or it could get stuck, a trash bag or something like that, and then there you go, you've got this giant, huge, beautiful animal, and it's brought low by something as simple as a sandwich bag. For those of you who watched my Costa Rica video and heard me talk about feeding wild animals with the episode with the monkeys, you might be wondering how I'm reconciling how I felt about that while at the same time recommending that other people go do something like this. How is this different? How is this not the same? In my head, because I have thought about this a fair bit, this is not so much people making animals dependent on them. This is not people bringing food to animals. This is a fluke. There was this manta ray who was injured, who took advantage of a change in her habitat. She adapted. Outwit, outplay, outlast for my Survivor fans out there. And she figured out a way to make things work for her. And then she taught that to others. Now, with humans coming in and intentionally doing this, they are not so much associating the people with the food. They're associating the lights with the food. And that happens every month on a full moon anyway. So I feel like maybe it's a fine line, but I don't think it's the same thing. I understand if you disagree. It's just my opinion. I know the format of this video looks a little different than what you're probably used to at this point. I haven't been throwing up the names, I haven't been putting up facts and all of that, but in this video in particular, I really just wanted to focus on the experience that I had and not so much the details and the facts. Like I said, knowledge is finite, but wonder is infinite, and I felt like if I cluttered up the screen for this particular video, it would just detract from what I really wanted you to be seeing. I know I can't share this experience entirely through a video, but I hope that you can get a feel for just how exciting and amazing it was. If you ever have a chance to do something like this, I believe that Kona, Hawaii is the only place that this behavior actually takes place. You can see them coming up to lights and things at other places, maybe one or two, but to get this massive school like this, I'm fairly confident. I remember them saying that's the only place in the world that you can witness this behavior. I just want to thank you all for sharing this religious experience with me, because that's truly what it felt like.
Oh my God! Oh, I can't get on the board!
We're going as fast as we can to swim with Manta Rays. And Cody is scared because he had to pee and we're gonna be late. Yeah.